What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Uber Curled Garage. Sorry it's been so long. Been kind of super busy and kind of got in a real bad funk there for a little while. So I am back. Definitely have a lot of work done and kind of have a game plan for what's next. So I've been talking to somebody about buying the Kia. Hopefully that goes through. I will, if this guy ends up buying the Gia, I'll end up putting another motor back in it for him, get it running and driving, and then it'll sell. So hopefully that comes through, and then we can really start jamming on the bug. But for now, we're just continuing on with the little piece by piece. So hope you guys enjoy.
Okay guys, I got a couple more parts up on the rack and primer, so we'll start getting all this stuff prepped up. I went and picked up some wax and grease remover, so we'll wipe all these down. Also grabbed a heater, so warming up the makeshift, paint booth. That way it's nice and warm. It is actually very warm in here. It's almost 80 degrees or so. So we'll, I think I have like one or two more parts to do. This one you can see has a little run in it from the primer, but I will sand that out real quick and then reprimer. And then I think we're ready for paint. So we'll start painting this stuff, and then after that there'll probably be another round of black parts that need to be painted. So we'll get right into it. Went ahead and sprayed a test piece. I didn't clean or prep any of this at all, so there's a couple little funky spots in it. So those are super weird. But I really like the color of this. It is super glossy. This is a single stage paint, so no clear coat over this. But it actually turned out okay. You can see it's a little tiny bit wavy. So I'll adjust the spray gun a little bit. So super nervous. This is kind of my first time using actual paint and not just a pre-set up with a hardener in it and stuff like that. So was super nervous to paint this. It actually came out very nice. The paint flowed out nice and smooth. Nothing out of the ordinary. So I think we're good. So I'm gonna wipe everything down with wax and grease remover and then start painting. All right, here goes nothing. Got all my parts wiped down. This one here is my oil catch can. Custom made to fit my car, so I'll show a little bit more about that after it's painted. Also got the floors wetted down. That way I don't get any dust flakes. So here goes nothing. Wish me luck, guys. So the paint turned out super good. Couple of the bits I'm probably going to end up wet sanding them just a little bit. Touch up paint if I have to. You can see there's that custom piece that I made. Fits in there. That actually bolts onto the front tilt, which is another thing that I'm going to be redoing. The grill turned out awesome. It's not fully bolted in, so don't mind the weird gaps and everything. So the grill turned out really good. Nice and shiny. Good to go. The other horn, grill, other splitter rod. The headlight stuff turned out really good. This piece that bolts onto the actual headlight ring was one of the little bits that I painted. So that got riveted back on with some stainless rivets. And then went ahead and sanded out the holes in the door handle. So that turned out really good. The actual emblem, I'm probably going to have to wet sand. And then that I'm probably going to have to wet sand as well. So we are going to... I'm going to finish that up real quick. I have to clean up. A lot of the garage is super messy at the moment. So I'm going to do a cleanup and then start working on the next batch of black parts. And then I can get those painted. I'll probably after that pull down the tent and start jamming on the body again. Start getting that stuff set up. Finish off the center chassis, start doing that, and then we'll just keep working forward, keep pushing. I do have somebody that is interested in the Gia, so hopefully that deal goes through. I'm going to help him, if he ends up buying it, I'm going to help him source a motor and computer. So I'll probably make a video on that. That way you guys kind of know what the deal with that car is. That way it's kind of nice because that person is subscribed to my channel. So it actually might turn out pretty cool. I'll end up helping him do a couple other things to the car. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that works. And then I can pick up a chassis, well, order the chassis for the Bug, and then start really jamming, getting the entire car set up and ready. So we will keep pushing, try and get this as close as we can and get it ready. I didn't show you guys too much of this. I actually made it at work. So, it's a little dark, but there's that oil catch can that I was talking about. The one that I painted up. The drain is right there. It sits in between the rear. Super nice. So the filters will actually sit there. I'm not sure if I'm running 2 or 3 breathers up on top of it, but they sit inside the grill in the back. And then if you come around here, you'll be able to kind of get a better visual on it. So that is a breather, so 2 or 3 of those holes will be filled up with breathers, and then the AN fittings all come out down here. I still have to clean it up, but each fitting, there's 6 of them, will go into the block. So there's 2 right there on the valve cover, there's 1 there, 1 there, and then 2 more on this valve cover, and those will get steel braided lines that run around the cage and back into this breather box. So should be a very, very good design. It's pretty much the same design that I did on the Gia, but with quite a few improvements on it. So I never had an issue with the Gia after the box was made, so I think I got a good idea on what it needs. So this one's baffled and all that, and the filters will have baffles on them and stuff like that too. So it looks like this is gonna work out pretty good. Not too worried about, you know, pulling a vacuum on it or anything like that. All I need is for the motor to breathe. So we will finish up the top of this, and that'll be in the next set of painting parts that I have to paint. So we'll get right on that. So back to the chassis. I did a little bit of work off camera just to make sure everything's gonna work and line up, but I will film the next piece. So got more of the actual center tunnel cleaned up. Still working on getting a couple holes filled and stuff like that. I went ahead and welded these on. So you notice there's a chunk missing out of both sides. This is where the body will come down and bolt onto the actual chassis. So the tube chassis will be built off of this. As you can see, this section here is completely different. It's raised up. So the idea here is my coolant lines run through this section of the heater channels. They'll run down this way and then they'll come out down here on both sides, come up. So the actual tube chassis will get cut through this section here, come through here, and then stick out here and follow all the way down. And then the main hoop will come off of that, and then the front bar will come off of that. The reason that this is bumped up so much is I still need my coolant passage to run through there. So this hole here will get drilled out. The coolant line will run through this above the actual tube chassis, and then drop down, and then down into the heater channel. So that way it keeps it nice and clean. Still gives me 100% ground clearance. It actually gives me more room for the brake pedal assembly. So that'll go in there. That will run through, give me plenty of room. The coolant passages up front will have 100% ground clearance, so they're not going to be underneath. This front section is actually a lot wider. I cut the section out right here and then flared it out to match the other side, or to match the width of what my suspension needs to be, which is I think it calculated out to being 3 or 4 inches wider than a standard bug. So this thing will give you a little bit of perspective on how wide this car is actually going to be. My front and rear track width is, I believe, 55 inches or so, somewhere around there. I'll let you guys know once I start building this, the front suspension and stuff, but we're moving right along. I gotta mimic that over here, and I will film that because now I know that this is gonna work. not gonna have to cut it back out. So we'll continue jamming on the chassis.
Alright guys, so that's all I have for you this week. Hopefully having another video next week. We'll continue on the chassis and getting other small bits and pieces finished. So we'll keep pushing forward, try and keep myself out of this funk that I've been in for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, guys.